What's going on, everybody? This is Clark Beckham, former runner-up of American Idol, and you're watching the Idol Breakdown. Let's start with Landry.
Clouds, I let you, I can tell you what you're thinking about it.
Landry sings Good Girl by Carrie Underwood. She is a pageant coach for Miss America specifically, which is awesome. The Miss America organization is incredible. I got to sing for a couple Miss America things and even judge Miss North Carolina. It really is an incredible organization. So anyone who is coaching girls and women on how to compete is a very impressive individual. And this lines up as we meet Landry. Now, there is just a hint of showmanship that is on the tiniest side of corny to me. And I think what I'm watching, I really think it's just me. I think everyone else is going to be all in. And that seemed to be the case on the Discord. But the little nose scrunch thing and the head thing, I don't know. That's a little much for me. But again, I think that's just me. She did get a little shouty at the top of her range. I say shouty, but it could have just been because the notes on top were just a little loose as far as pitch goes, and the control wasn't spot on. If the pitch was perfect, I don't know if I'd be saying it was shouty. But when chest voice gets just a little loose, all of a sudden it's like, you're shouting, but really it's just a pitch issue. So she's got to fix that. But she sounds great. She's got a good voice. Victor Solomon sings Hello by Lionel.
And in my dreams, I've kissed your lips 1,000 times.
Really cool. Great voice, but what's different about him, we have a lot of really great voices that are unique, not just flat out great. On this episode, Victor's one of them. He has a super deep tone, and usually I tell students, and most singers want to push their tone to what's called the front of the mask, just right up here, real bright. He does the opposite. He brings it way back, makes it very deep, but the tone that comes out is rich and really wonderful. He's super churchy. I was watching it with a friend, and the first thing he said was he's been in church, and then the Groove Crew in the Discord was lighting it up like church, 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 gospel, gospel, which is great. The run at the end was one note too much for me. Not quantity, but the note specifically. It was like a flat 5 tritone type thing, and it was just okay, the chord doesn't do that, song doesn't do that. You just wanted to show us look, a gospel run. But it was still really impressive, and you're trying to show everything you can do, so I don't hate it. I just thought it was it took me out. I was involved in the song. I believed what he was singing, and then that happened, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm watching a singer, instead of really believing what he was singing was something he was going through. Isaiah Moore.
Devil, I knew I had to move back east. Say goodbye to my brother, the end of that summer.
Newly married for 7 days. Congratulations, Isaiah. Luke Combs' song is what he auditioned with. I really think Isaiah is interesting because, in my opinion, he is not a singer that's going to put you on your back just listening to vocal ability or runs or a giant range or anything like that. But that's fine because that's not what we need. And most of the greatest artists of all time can't do that either, aren't these spectacular acrobatic type singers. I know the reward of music at its highest level is emotional connection. It's not being impressed, it's being moved. He can do that because he has gone through a lot of stuff. And talking about church, just to get a little churchy for a second, his mom was addicted to drugs for a while, and now she's not. He said, he didn't say she's 3 years sober. He didn't say she's 3 years clean. He said she's 3 years free. And then it said worship pastor, and I was like, oh, got it. Let's get him, in my opinion, I think it would be dope for him to start singing some Christian stuff. Someone who really has a testimony and has gone through some stuff and has seen God change their life for the better and set his mom free using his word that I would use as well. Get someone like that singing, "There is power in the name of Jesus," or some worship song that he can deeply connect to. I know that's not really what Idol is, but I think there's something there that he could really tap into that would make him way different and set him way apart from everybody else. Because with his voice alone, I don't think that's gonna happen. Grayson.
Yeah, I wasn't made to fall in love.
We have another wonderful singer who comes alive in the chorus when her range gets high. In the verse, I was like, okay, all right, this is fine. And then she got to the upper part of her range, and then boom, she went from like a 6 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10 voice. And the vowel shifts were gorgeous. It's something I cover in my style courses on runs, is just shifting those vowels around. She has very tall, dark vowels when she sings. And then randomly on the I will just shoot out wide. Like her vowels in like, oh, and then would be tall and kind of back and deep. And then the I would just go wide. So it'd be like, oh, ah. And it would just bring out this wide spectrum of sound. And it's powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. And her runs were clean. She's really strong. She's got to fall in love with the verses and make the middle part of her range her favorite part of the song. And then she'll have this big complete package that she can really work with. Bray John.
I'll make it out of here, wanna feel alive.
Super unique tone. Luke said kind of gave him this spoken word vibe that he was just like locked into. That is goals as a singer. For someone to just lock into the words that you're saying and the way that you're communicating, goals, 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 goals. So that's huge. Lionel said he's a vibe master. That's huge. He had a very unique tone that reminded me a little bit of John Legend, but not enough to where I felt like, oh, look, a John Legend imitator, which a lot of singers give that vibe. He didn't have like the biggest, most impressive range, but again, you don't need it. You didn't like do any crazy runs. You don't need it. You need emotional connection. It seems like he's got that. He seems, I don't know if it's like raw, but there's just something for me missing that doesn't fully click to like, ooh, this guy's a problem. But he has the most essential elements of being a problem, which is, I sound like a broken record, emotional connection. Then they have a montage of saying no to a lot of people, and they talk about how important no is. And they have this one contestant that's like, but I really want it. And they have a lot of contestants saying like, push me, I'll work hard. Like Bray John was like, push me, I'll work hard, I'll work hard. I was thinking, you know, there's no one alive who is going to be in the audition in front of the judges who aren't going to be like, I'll do anything, I'll fight. It's like, okay, you fight and you'll do anything and you'll push yourself before you get there. And I'm sure they have, but a lot of people are like, oh, well, now I'll turn it on. It's like, no. If you haven't turned it on now, then you will not turn it on for your career unless there's a major change in your personality or your attitude. And the people that get no's, one thing that Harry Connick Jr. said on my season was, listen, guys, we've all gotten no's before, all three of us, talking about the judges. He said, and of all the no's we've ever gotten, we've never been convinced. We've never agreed with the no. We've been like, okay. And boy, when Luke said no is part of this business, it is, boy, is it. I get no's all of the time. I mean, days ago, was auditioning and working on something and was told no. And you have to just be like, okay, that's fine. That has nothing to do with my career. You just keep moving on. I know Idol feels like a high stakes, this could be everything kind of a opportunity. And it is, but it is not the end all be all. I promise. It can feel like it, but it is not. And there will be many things in life, whether you're singing for American Idol or you're trying to get a different job or whatever you do, that feel like this is it. I promise there's something greater than these opportunities in the grand scheme of things that will make sure you are where you are supposed to be if you keep doing the right thing. So just keep doing the right thing and you're going to go wherever you need to go. That will put you in a better place than a TV show ever could. Michaela.
But no other man's gonna do. So I'm saving all my love for you.
Okay, this is the first audition of the episode that makes my mind explode and go, what are you guys listening to? I thought Michaela was perfection. We have all these great singers so far. And then Michaela steps up and I go, wow, aha, a bona fide superstar singer, monster singer, can do everything right. Every register, chest, mixed voice, falsetto. Her stage presence is fantastic. The smile, she smiles at the right time. She's moving comfortably. Everything is perfect. Sometimes a singer like this pops up and makes you recalibrate your mind on what a great singer is. And that's her. She sings a Whitney Houston song. Some people say don't sing Whitney Houston. You can sing whatever you want. If you're Michaela and you sound like that, you can sing Whitney Houston. You can sing a song that's been done a billion times. I don't care what you sing. You can do anything. And then the judges, Carrie actually says, I don't know about your nerves. I did not notice any nerves. Now, we didn't necessarily see the whole audition. That could have been her second song. There could have been stuff that Carrie was referring to that we didn't see, but I don't know how you make that quick turnaround if she was like super nervous in the first and the second she just all of a sudden becomes a star. But Buddy, I have no idea what the judges were listening to because I thought she was actually perfect. Like the song, the performance, I thought was perfect. Carrie said, I think she has potential. Potential. She's there. I was maybe I'm getting salty because my audition, Harry Connick Jr. said almost the same thing, and then J-Lo said the same thing too. Harry Connick Jr. told me, he's like, I don't think you're ready. I'm going to say no. J-Lo was like, you seem really nervous. And then I was like, yeah, totally, super nervous. And I feel like that was what her response was too. Feels like to me, she wasn't nervous. But when Carrie's like, are you really nervous? She's just gonna be like, yeah, totally. Super nervous. Because what are you gonna say? No? Oh, so you weren't nervous? You're just that bad naturally? You have to say yes to that. But the part where my brain explodes is she was perfect. I mean, perfect. And if you disagree with me, maybe I need to see a counselor, but more likely you all need to see a counselor because she's the best singer of the show as of that point. Let's talk about Bryson.
Kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown, waiting for something or someone to show you the way.
Did a Pink Floyd song, which I thought was brilliant because if you're a country singer, if you're any singer, you got to stand out. How are you going to stand out? Doing a non-country song in a country way that sounds really, really good is a brilliant way to stand out. Right from the jump, I'm typing in the Discord, all caps, sang. Like, this guy's crushing. For me, after the first 15 seconds, he kind of fades away. It's almost like he gets bored. And the judges loved him. A lot of the Groove Crew loved him. I mean, everybody, JLU and the Groove Crew says he's going to win. And maybe I'm alone here, but it felt like he started to just kind of drift in the middle upper part of his range, and it started to sound a little strained, and it felt like he was not giving it as much attention as he gave the opener. But when you pick an audition song, you want to punch people in the face with the first line, and that's exactly what he did. I think he stands out, and if there's going to be a country singer so far that we've heard that makes the top 24, that makes the live shows, I would put my money on him. Carson.
I'm gonna show you how to clog.
Let's do it.
Okay.
You're a natural.
Oh, Carson. Well, I feel like the clogging thing lasted for 30 minutes, and that's cool, I guess. Seeing his personality, that's great. I'm sure he's a great clogger. I'm sure that's really tough. That's cool. His singing.
Feels like the walls are all closing in and the devil's knocking at my door.
I think he's got a good tone. He's got good power. Obviously has a ton of personality. He's going to be really fun to watch in Hollywood Week. Just see how he responds to the stress and the pandemonium that is Hollywood Week. I thought his runs were a little soft, not sharp edges, but a little soft at times, kind of taking the slide rather than taking the stairs. And I didn't get it as much as the judges did. Judges loved him. And I think he's got a good voice. I wouldn't put him as a top tier singer compared to everyone else who's sung so far, that we've seen so far, but he's good. And he's got a ton of personality. Lionel said something like, hey, you don't have to be a gimmick, you're really good. And you can be taken seriously, and be careful about that. And I think that was good advice, because he's got talent there. We'll see. This is one that I'm just gonna like, all right, let's see what happens. And then you have MKY, Mikey, question mark. Maybe it's Mikey, maybe it's MKY, maybe it's Mickey.
I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby.
I kind of feel like the edit, I don't know. He really came across smooth, suave, like almost too much. Almost too like, I don't know, Cadillac down Sunset Boulevard. It wasn't Sunset Boulevard, but like that vibe, and the tattoos and like the barbershop and the R&B, like cool suave, like Rico Suave kind of guy. It felt a little too much, but it never felt fake for me. But it felt pretty heavy. He started singing, and he's got it. He's got all of it. Got the playing, the singing, the vibe, the look. His teeth are so white. Good looking guy. His falsetto is wonderful. Runs got a little shaky on the falsetto runs. You want sharp edges. In my opinion, you want sharp edges, and you want the pitch to be right on there. You don't want it to get loose in the falsetto range. You don't want those falsetto runs to be smooth. You want them to be sharp. And I would love, like, die to hear him sing some Robin Thicke, because that is what Robin Thicke made his career on, is a falsetto like that, and soul, and a guitar even like that. Like, lost without you, can't help myself. How does it feel? Know that I love you, baby. Like, if he sang that, I think everybody would just fall apart in a good way, including myself. I would love to hear that. Josh King.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
Josh King, let me just put my bias out there, is a student of mine, as I proudly say, and helped him prepare a little bit for American Idol. So there's my bias. Here's my attempt of an objective opinion. He's a monster. I felt it when I first heard him sing in a one-on-one lesson with me, and he's actually, when he started playing piano on the show, I was like, oh, geez, he's even better than I realized. This dude is a monster piano player, great singer, and has a lot of depth in his artistry. And I'm talking more than just what I saw in the audition. This is from what I know of Josh. Tons of depth in his artistry. The judges kept saying like, okay, now just sing it normal. Play it normal and don't dance. Don't sparkle, just play it simple. None of the fancy stuff. And he could not do it. He could not play simply. He couldn't help himself, which is great. You don't want to play normal. You don't want to play simple. Now there are goods. There are goods to be had when you're playing very simple and straightforward. But when you can't help yourself, like you physically can't help yourself, that means what you're doing is natural and organic and artistic, and it's not show-offy. It's I can't help myself. That is a green light. That's like, okay, do the thing then. Keith Urban on My Season said, you should only do a run when you can't help yourself. It has to come out of you. That's him. That's what he's showing us. I've got big thumbs up. Lionel said, no jazz. Okay, well, Lionel, we've been friends till now. Now I'm ready to fight. No jazz. Okay, so his artistry, complex chords, no scatting, no depth. Okay, you don't want any of that? You want to just strip him of what he can do, of what he does, what makes him different than everybody else? It's like, hey, Usain Bolt, let's turn you into a jogger. Let's do that. Hey, Justin Timberlake, let's not have you get produced by Timbaland anymore. Michael Jordan, let's say no, only 3-point shots for you for your career. Let's do that. Totally again. I get he's like trying to make him non-lounge. I don't think he's lounge. Okay, like what's Michael Bublé? What's his career been like? It's been pretty great. I think he could go there. I think he could go the Ben Platt route. I think there are many places for his talent and artistry to go where he does not have to strip away the very thing that makes him special. So Lionel, you got to strike for me. Not that he cares at all with all of his success and money. Then we have Sophie Powers.
I had a pet lizard named George. He was cool, but he made me really bored.
Why? Then we have LaShawn.
Hey, she called me divine. I'm a woman. You know I gotta rock the crown now.
A lot of presence, super interesting, gravitating, huge smile, wide eyes, fearless, eye contact, and the judges really took to her. Said artist in all caps, what Carrie said. And I think I noticed like these artists, Carrie Underwood, Lionel Richie, Luke Bryan, caught something that maybe the rest of us simpletons did not. And that was the power of her uniqueness and the it factor that makes an artist. Sometimes when we're watching these singing shows, we think, who's the best singer? Who's the best singer? Who's the best singer? Who moves us emotionally most? Who makes us cry? Stuff like that. But there's something that makes an artist that does not have anything to do with vocal ability, because there are tons of incredibly successful artists that aren't very good singers. There are even more, maybe most, that are above average, but not like phenomenal, crazy good singers. So what is that hidden element? I think they can see it, and maybe I can't as much, because I thought she was a good singer, ton of personality, and I really liked her, and that's about where it stops for me. But to see these legendary award-winning artists, Carrie Underwood, Luke Bryan, and Lionel, go, oh my gosh, like click. And it wasn't like, wow, you're a great singer, click. It was, I really feel like you're going to be a star. That made me pause, and I took notes of that. So I kind of just want to say she's going to be a star, because I just believe them. And then the last singer is Philo.
Try a little tenderly.
Shoo-wee. My goodness. First line just put me into a pretzel. Showed us immediately, hey, look, I have range, I have soul, I mean what I'm singing, I have runs, and I have amazing tone. When he gave us that information with the very first line out of his mouth, I was enthralled and in so much joy to hear the rest of his audition. And I continued to listen in joy and utter bewilderment at how accurate his runs were and how deep and wonderful his tone. And then he would go up in his range and bring this rasp and belting tone that really freaked me out. This is the best singer of the show so far, of the season. It's not close, in my opinion. When you take the tone that he has on the top and the bottom parts of his range and the run accuracy. Now, here's the only thing. Runs were too much. He ran too much, in my opinion. It was every line. And it still came across as amazing because the runs that he was doing that were too much were perfect. He had one run near the end that was a little more of a slide rather than the stairs. But other than that one instance, all of his runs, like skill level, like difficulty level was a 10 and his execution was a 10. So that's why it still came across as, wow, this is great. But it could get too much if he kept doing it like that. With someone with that great of tone and the ability to do those runs, you want to set people up with your tone. You want to set people up with the voice that you have and the story that you're telling in the song. And the run is the knockout punch. Setting them up here, setting them up here. You're singing, you're singing, you're singing, you're singing. Boom. Right. You just set it right up and just knock it out of the park with the final blow of a run instead of run, 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 run. So that is my only critique, but he is right up there as one of my top 3 probably favorite contestants, and I can easily say that he's the best singer that we've seen this season. When I refer to my classes, my online courses about runs, about vocal foundations, even fat loss, stuff like that, all those courses are linked in the description below. These shows premiere every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and then a live Q&A is following the premiere. So if you're watching this premiere, you're going to have the link in just a second. As soon as I finish the Theodore Roosevelt quote, the link will pop up. If you want to be a Groove Crew member and participate in the live Discord chat during the show while we watch together, then you can click the join button that's below my face on this video. Live Q&A is a little different this year. If you're a member, I'll answer your question. But if you're not a member and you have a question, I will still answer it, but it has to be through a super chat. And then that will be our live Q&A, 15 minutes starting in 25 seconds right after I finish this quote. And it's an important quote because we all need to remember we watch this. The show is about critiquing. The show is about listening to a singer and be like, what do you think, guys? And then all of us saying our opinions. But it is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the one who is actually in the arena, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement and who at worst fails while daring greatly. See you guys next week.